Hello traders, it's Mark here from the Day Trading Room. The time is 10 to 5 in the afternoon London time on Wednesday the 17th of November, and it's dark already outside. Today, range bound day, the sort of day, or so far range bound day, it's still halfway through the day, but the sort of day that we expect after a heavy downtrend yesterday. And you may notice in front of you, let me turn my volume down a bit. You may notice in front of you I've got the ES chart instead of the YM chart, and I've got a 3 minutes chart up here rather than a 1 minute. Now I'm going to use a 3 minute I think for the videos because having reviewed some of the videos going back to some of the early ones, it's difficult to see where the trade is in relation to the price of the day. So even though we're scalping and we're scalping off a shorter time frame, I think a 3 minutes better for clarity, because obviously it's very important where the price is in relation to the day. So I'll use a 3 minute from now on. Reason I've got the ES up is for some reason my Dow or my YM feed seems to be very jerky at the moment. I don't know if it's a trade station issue or something to do with my internet service provider. I am changing my provider. It's due in a couple of days, but I don't know what that is anyway. So the ES seems to be fine, so we're on the ES for the time being until that can be sorted out. Same thing anyway. There's no real difference. So let's run through what we got up to yesterday. Yesterday, great start, awful exit on my first trade. Gap down in the morning, really heavy, a pretty decent gap lower. We're opening around the 11,100 level on the Dow Cash. It messed around there for a bit, pushed up, but you could see, again, it's all about these ticks. The ticks are just giving away the hand of the market. They're just showing that there's just no buyers, and this little push up is just so pathetic. Ticks barely got above zero, and it was well worth a shot when it started to turn, because you could see the tape just started to speed up a bit. And same old thing, but I know it's repetitive, but it's the same old thing. Couple of hypotheses in the morning. What we're looking for, gap fill, or we're looking for a push up that then pushes lower. Same thing on a gap down or gap up, just the other way around. So that was what we're looking for. This started to push up very low though. Excuse me. If the ticks had been higher, then we would have been looking for the gap fill, but there's just no volume there, and to me it just looked as if we wanted to push lower. Great entry on that. Picked it really well. Just get my notes out. Bear with me. Okay, yeah, Phil was at 11.89 and a quarter, and what did I do? Classic thing that keeps getting me at the moment. Out too early. Out for one ES point. What's that, about 10 YM points? All out there. Really can't explain it now. Looking back at the chart. Perhaps there was a little bit of tape support there, but in reality it's so weak. Minimum really should have been four ES points on that minimum. But I think I can see here what I did is I scaled one as usual, and then I just thought I'd get the rest out. So just one ES point for me on that, which is a shame because really that was the start of a push lower. But anyway, that caught me out a little bit in terms of my my mindset and my psychology about the next trade. And so I sat out for a while because I made that mistake, and I think it was such a howler of an error. Really, I should have been looking for the bottom of this level here. Let me get my drawing pen out. That was my target, and then I was looking obviously for a further push to lows. If that was a genuine trade and we weren't going to fill the gap, then it looked like we are going to take out some lows. But okay, it's a profitable trade, but you can't be doing those too often before they're going to catch you out. So yeah, I just took time just to step away and just refocus my head, relax again. You've got to be calm, you've got to be focused, but you've still got to be relaxed. You can't be on edge. You've got to be calm with it. You've got to sort of let the market I don't talk to you, if you like. You need to understand where the market wants to go, what it wants to do, and just try and get in tune with it. Rather than aggressively grabbing it by the throat and trying to get trades that way, just try and get little hints and clues, and that's all really what we're doing as traders. We're looking for hints, we're looking for clues. I use the ticks, I use volume, I use tape, I use where we are in relation to yesterday's trade, where we are in relation to the prior week, and where we are in relation to today's trade. Obviously, you can't use that at the open, but bringing all that together to try and create a picture, and just relaxing and processing that information, and allowing your mind to process that information, and then allowing it to draw on its experience to get a feel for where the market wants to go. So, great entry for me there. Awful exit. Let the demons get hold of me there, and then took it all out far too early. But anyway, as I say, took a break, came back in, and then as we were starting to push lower, it then became around the time that I was looking for some sort of exhaustion to go long. As you know, that's the sort of thing I will look for, exhaustion at a key level. It's got to be at a key level. And then I'll look to try and hold it for a cycle back, and then I'll look to take the short for the deeper cycle lower. So we've got this good push down, and around here was the 11,000 cash level. I've still got my cash feed working fine, so I could see that 11,000 cash level was around about here. Okay, so I'm looking for an exhaustion to that point. I got in a little bit early. The first call I made was here, and I bought a couple of batches at this point here. Where are we? 1176, 1176 and a quarter, and got that away at 1178 and a quarter, 1177 and a half. So read that okay, but I think I realised pretty quickly that there was one more flush in this. I got a nice pop and got my 8 and a quarters. I think it was about here, and then started to come out as we drifted lower. So I'm then still in buy mode because I don't want to get short. I think it's quite late in the trend, but I'm still looking for that one more flush, and this was an absolute perfect setup. 11,000 cash is there, flush lower. A lot of people probably bought that like me, but didn't get out quick enough to bank the profits. We pushed lower through the low, push right down, really low ticks, good volume, and then we put in this tail and pop straight back up. That to me is an absolute gift of an opportunity. And not only that, I've got this nice little indicator now which shows me the midday section of the market. So I've set it to show me between 4:45 and 5:15 UK time, which is about the midday point in New York. So it just highlights the section, the segment of the market where I'm potentially looking for reversal. That noon push, the final little push that we like to get on. So perfect, really. We're in that section. 11,000 cash, just poked under. I think it went to 10,085. So we'd come a long way. We'd had one, two. This was the third push, so we're quite late on in the trend. I'm not saying it couldn't go deeper. That's why we always have our stops in place and we manage our risk. But the odds are on our side for some sort of relief, some sort of rubber band effect, just to pop us back up. I thought perhaps we'd get up to the VWAP with one push, but we didn't. But nevertheless, it was a good 2-point trade, which is, what's that, 20 points on the Dow equivalent. I'm just using one ES points, about 10 YM points. Still need to think in terms of YM. That's how my brain works. So a good 20 tick trade, 2 points on the ES. Really great entry for me. That low was 1172 and a quarter, and I got filled at 1172 and a half. Actually, it might have been 1172 on the dot. Anyway, the fill was 1172 and a half. Actually, if I take the drawing tool off, we can see exactly what we got. Yeah, 1172 and a quarter, so one tick off the low. Good read for me, that. Just waiting for that pause in the tape, that push. When we're in this low area in the ticks, when we're late in the trend, when we've got the volume, we're in our little zone, we've got the 11,000 level just under there. you know, that's a perfect time to go in and going quite aggressively. So I did. I had to use a reasonably wide stop on that, 1.5 points on the ES. What's that? 15 on the Dow. So just to give it a little bit of rooming, just in case it just shuddered a little bit lower. But I was definitely ready to trim it. We popped up pretty quickly, and if we'd have started to have another look lower, I'd have trimmed. Probably at least 4 or 5 contracts off just to get it reduce the risk a bit, but it didn't. It popped straight back up, and I managed to come all out. My best was for say 2 points, so that was good. Looking then for a deeper cycle to get short on, and I was looking for it to come up to about this level here. And as you know, I talk about the way that the trends push down. You get the first, the second, the third push. We're looking to short first pullbacks, deeper pullbacks, buying exhaustion. Then we're waiting for that longer term cycle, and then either a new low or we're going to take off at the low. So same old thing, nothing new, but then that's what trading is about, just tweaking setups that work. So I was looking for an entry here. I was looking for an entry here, short. Didn't get it, unfortunately. Didn't quite get up to the VWAP. Would have been perfect because that was a lovely longer term cycle before it pushed lower and then took out the lows, and that would have been a great little trade that. But didn't get on the end of that. Never mind. Good day nevertheless. Today, one trade for me so far. I've got my eye on it at the moment as we're recording because we just hit 5 o'clock, and if we can just pop to that high here, I will take a short, looking for a pullback to the range. If we don't, then I'm not going to be too concerned. But today, a little easy trade for the well, no trade's easy. You should never say that. But in terms of setups and clarity, we're looking for a range day after a good trend day lower. Looking for them to digest what's happened. Really annoyed for a while until I calmed down and relaxed and just let it drift over you. But it's human nature to be annoyed. I was annoyed that I missed this pullback here. This was the 11,000 again. Tagged it. Um, Gift of a long, really. Wasn't alert enough. Um, no excuse for that. That was a nice long, and then we got the push up there for the opening drive. So missed that. Disappointed, but okay. Held out. Second hypothesis. On the range day, we are looking for extremes. So we're looking for levels to get the extremes. And this is the overnight high here, 1181 on the ES. Bit of congestion, obviously from yesterday as well. So letting it push up, seeing the pause there, taking the short, and we're just looking for a pullback to the middle of the range. We've got our range here, and we're just looking for a pullback to the middle. So that's what it did. Got that short there. Great little entry. It had to sit with it for about 10 minutes or so before it started rolling, but that's what happens unfortunately on trend days. You get that sort of messing around, and you have to sit with it for a while. So 1181 and a quarter was my entry, and I was out just it tagged that VWAP, which was 78.5. I did have an order in at 77 to try and get the pop back up to the top end of the range. I missed that by a couple of ticks, but that's the way it is, especially with the ES. Not as used to using limits with it. And it'd be nice if there was some sort of indicator which could tell you your position in the queue, but haven't found one yet. If anyone knows anything, then I'd be grateful to hear about it. So that's it. Good trading, guys. This is interesting now. This is the deepest pullback we've had since September in the market. So there's some levels opening up. Just got to be careful of the change of phase of the market. We go from quite aggressive volatility and trend days to range days. So you've got to be alert. You've got to use the setups that are appropriate for the day. And also be very careful if you are looking for those exhaustion moves. Just try and coincide them with levels like yesterday. Don't go in too early. Just wait until it goes to a point where you think, that it's going to end. Try and get the time right. Try and get the ticks. Try and use the key levels, the 11,000, obviously on the Dow Cash, and manage your risk. Important to use those stops. If you get stopped, you can always go in again for the next trade. But the most important thing is to keep that capital in place, because you can't trade without capital. Not forgetting the emotional damage it does to you if you take a large hit. So keep that risk managed, guys. Thanks for all your comments and ratings on the videos. Glad to see there's some use. Really just a blog for me, but if someone else is getting some benefit out of it, then that's absolutely great. Good trading, guys, and we'll back with another video in a couple of days.